What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dude Ranch DIY. My name is Jake.
And I'm Chris.
And we are not in the woodyard today. We are up in the driveway, actually, and we got the Kubota tractor here. And I have been waiting a couple months to do this video. There were a lot of moving parts. We had to get all the moving parts to align. It's a full moon coming up, so everything is set. The universe is ready for us to make this video, and I'm pretty excited to see what happens with this video, because I don't really know what to expect with what we're going to do. Am I being vague enough?
Yeah, pretty vague.
I'm being vague, but I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you what we got going on. So, in addition to a Coors Banquet, still looking for that sponsorship opportunity, we have a couple cardboard boxes here. Right here, we have a box from VEVOR, the great people over at VEVOR. And when we open it up, look at what we got inside. This, if you cannot tell, is what they call a crane scale. It has a 3,000 kilogram capacity, which is how many pounds?
6,600 and change.
There we go. So 6,000 pounds. What would we be doing with a crane scale? Well, if you look in these two boxes here, look at what's poking through. Let's get these puppies opened up, and I think everything is going to make a lot more sense. Oh man, it's getting thirsty. All right, let's pop this bad boy open. Ooh, shiny. Oh, baby. One, two.
You're like a magician.
Like one of those magician things. Okay.
Ooh, hardware.
There we go, some hardware.
Good thing we didn't throw that out.
So guys, yes, I have new loader cylinders, both lift and curl, and these were sent to me by Kevin, the owner of Hydros Plus. Go check him out, www.hydrosplus.com. And we are going to be swapping out these stock cylinders on the loader for these slightly larger cylinders. And what that should do is give us up to a 30% increase in lift capacity. Now, there's some things that we have to talk about as far as increasing the lift capacity of your tractor, why you may want to do it, why you may not want to do it. But I'm just putting this out there. I am doing this as a choice. This is my choice to do this. Yes, it might void warranties, whatever. It could put extra stress on components. But if you use the tractor properly, with proper ballast and counterweight, and you're a smart operator and you're not just going out maxing out the lift capacity of your tractor every time you use it, for the most part, things should be okay. That being said, only time will tell. All right, so as you can see, we got all 4 cylinders here. We got the VEVOR crane scale, and we got the tractor. So what we want to do is kind of do an experiment here. I want to see what the tractor lift capacity currently is, and the way that we're going to do that is by utilizing that VEVOR crane scale. The plan is we're going to strap it to a stump, and then, or chain it to a stump, and then chain the other end of the scale to the tractor, and then pull up, and we'll basically that should tell us what our lift capacity is currently with the stock Kubota cylinders. So then we're gonna try these Hydros Plus cylinders, and they do have a larger cylinder. The bore size is the same, but that gives you more surface area to, i.e., create more lift capacity. It's also going to slow down the loader a hair, but I mean, how often are you really using the loader, like going from all the way up position to all the way down? I'm not too concerned about that. If I can have a little extra lift capacity to make, picking up IBC totes a little bit easier on the hydraulic system and stuff, and just kind of have that little bit of extra capacity so that we're not maxing out the tractor, when picking up logs and stuff, I think that's basically the goal here. We're gonna use this white oak stump over here, but it's a little too big and I don't want the strap to slip out, so I'm gonna notch it on either side to give the strap a place to ride. Alright, so now I got one of these lifting slings, and this thing is rated for different weights based on how you're using it. We are going to be using it choker style, so it is rated to 4,240 pounds, which, this tractor, no matter, it's not, even with the new cylinders, it's not going to lift 4,240 pounds, so we'll be good. But we should be able now to fit this around like so, and this is perfect. I want a nice tight fit. We'll be able to hook the crane sling right here and have the loader arms right above it. Okay guys, now this stump isn't ideal because it's a couple feet where we're gonna be lifting up off the ground. I think ideally, I'm not exactly sure how all the physics and stuff works about tractors, so don't quote me on this, but I think it would be ideal if what we were pulling up against was as close to the ground as possible, simulating like a pallet, only being an inch or so up off the ground. But we're kind of dealing with what we have, because to be quite honest, I don't really have anything around here, like I said before, that this tractor can't lift. And I'm not willing to hook it up to like the bumper of my truck or something like that. So we're using a stump. So we're gonna try and shorten up the lead as much as possible. I'm gonna use this big, heavy crane, cable here and wrap it around the center of the pallet forks. We're gonna use the shackle off the VEVOR crane scale, like so. Chris, my lovely assistant, will hold this up, and I'm gonna put this through. Okay, so this is the setup we're going with. As you can see, we have the cable around the center point of the forks here, and the crane scale hanging off. That hook on the bottom of the crane scale is going to be hooked to this strap right here. And trial one, I'm gonna do it at 1,500 RPM. Okay, setting the parking brake, 1,500 RPM.
All right,
that's maxed out on the loader.
1,180 pounds. Slowly creeping down.
Now we're gonna go up to full RPM.
stopped at 1,316 pounds.
That's 1,300.
1,335 pounds.
I think the loader needs to be lower.
Yeah.
Yeah. The loader definitely needs to be lower.
We don't really have a spot for that.
Let's try the birch stump.
All right. We're going to try this out on a stump that's a little bit lower to the ground. Hopefully this will change the results just a little bit, because quite frankly, those results were a little dismal.
Yeah, that was surprising. I think I'm pretty sure that tractor can lift more than 1,300 pounds. So we're gonna try it on this. The tractor, I mean, those forks were all of 5 to 6 feet in the air by the time it really started putting pressure. So by lowering this down, I'm hoping that we can see a higher lift result from the stock Kubota cylinders. You think we could shorten up? Oh yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
I like it. Oh.
I like it a lot. Oh, Yahtzee.
I don't like the way that that's pressing on the fork.
Huh?
I don't like the way that it's pressing on the fork.
All right, guys, here we are, 1,500 RPM, setting the brake. Here we go. Okay, so already
1,430 pounds.
you gotta make sure we're not talking over each other.
Oh.
Say that again.
All right, it looks like we're stopped at 1,420 pounds.
Okay, now I'm gonna let off. Bring it back down to 0, and now I'm gonna rev it up all the way. So right now we're about 2,800, 2,650, 2,700. Here we go.
We're stopped at 1,552 pounds.
That was more like it.
Yeah.
That was more like it. All right, so as you guys saw, I think, what did we hit? 1,420 pounds at 1,500 RPM.
You have a better memory.
And 1,550 pounds at 2,700 RPM, which was wide open throttle. So not that big of a difference really going from 1,500 up to 2,700. But and this obviously worked a lot better, being that it was pulling much lower to the ground. I mean, if we had like a Mafia block buried somewhere, I think that would be like the ultimate with an eye bolt, because we could just be pulling right off of that. But I mean, here, I'd say this is a pretty regular lifting scenario, picking something up to about like the height of a truck bed or something like that, at least for what I do on a daily basis. So now we're gonna go swap out these cylinders and see what we got. Here we go.
yeah, just like that. First cylinder out. All right, guys, so as you can see here, we have the old stock Kubota cylinder next to the new Hydros Plus cylinder. Now, you know, at first glance, they're gonna look to be about the same, but you'll notice that the Hydros Plus cylinder is larger. I believe this is a 2-inch cylinder with a 1-inch bore, and I believe that the Kubota is a 1.5 or 1.75 with I believe it's also a 1-inch bore, but this appears to be smaller than that. So I could be mistaken, or it could be my eyes deceiving me, but that was super easy to get this out. Now, basically all we got to do to put it back on is reverse the process. So we're going to take this, and I'm going to grab my top pin. You'll notice the pins are different, at least on my tractor, which is an L3901. Going to not put it in upside down. Going to put it in right side up. We're going to twist this a little.
That's wrong.
What?
Your hoses are on the inside, not the outside.
Oh, very astute point. There we go. So I keep Chris around. All right, now we'll put this in like so. And now it is hanging. Put in the keeper bolt. Just like that. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay, that's on.
Wash, rinse, repeat.
Yep, just gotta hook up the hydraulic hoses and basically repeat the process
3 more times.
3 more times. All right, guys, we got the new cylinders on. You can see the 2 new curl cylinders here, new lift cylinder on either side. It was a really easy process, was it not?
Very easy.
It's just literally a matter of pulling the 2 pins on each cylinder, disconnecting each hose and remembering which hose goes where, popping in the new cylinder, putting the pins in, and reconnecting the hoses. We got all the pins re-greased. We went around and did that. So now I'm gonna fire it up. It did bleed out a little bit. We fired it up for a second just to adjust one of the grease fittings so we could get the gun in there. So now I'm gonna fire it up. The system should self-purge, but what I'm more curious about is my hydraulic fluid level, because the tractor and the transmission all run off of the same hydraulic fluid, you know, like tank, so to speak. Taking off those 4 cylinders, they were filled with some amount of fluid. So once we get it all running and get the air out, I want to check the fluid level, and we'll probably have to add a little bit.
seeing any leaks or anything, so I think we're good. It seems to be pretty smooth. You can see I'm doing 2 functions at once. No problem with the curl and the lift. And, you know, we're just at an idle right now. So I think I'd say we're pretty good. I just want to check the hydraulic fluid level now. So the dipstick on this tractor is right here. Actually, there's a bunch of stuff around it. Okay. Pull this out. Wipe it clean. You'll see the 2 marks right there. And yeah, we are low. We're not even registering anything on there. So we're gonna have to fill it up a little bit. Ooh. Tight.
A little tight.
Oh, muscles McGee.
Need a mechanic's thumb. You know what you also need?
What?
Is a bungee cord to hold that up.
Like you have.
Yes.
I remember.
My tractor is cooler than yours.
Yeah. I don't have one. This tractor didn't come with any bungee cords, but I did just buy a bunch of new bungee cords for the IBC totes. Link in the Amazon storefront. Ooh, brand new UDT. This is the good stuff. Okay, yeah, now we're just shy of that top mark, so I think we're good. All right, guys, so we are now at the point we are ready to go back down to the stump and use the VEVOR crane scale to see what our maximum lift capacity should be. Now, Kevin over at Hydros Plus said that I should see, based on this tractor and these cylinders, that I should see about a 30% increase in lift capacity. So if you remember before, at wide open throttle, about 2,700 RPM, I believe it came out to about 1,550 pounds max on that crane scale. We just did some quick math. 30% would be a 465 pound increase, which would then put us at 2,015 pounds, which sounds like an awful lot. So, I mean, what do you think?
The tractor itself only weighs, what,
3,000? I mean, granted, without the ballast, and I have like well over, it's probably about 2,000 pounds of ballast between the loaded tires and the big tool rack. But still, that sounds like an awful lot, so I'm really excited to go hook it up and see. Drop a comment down below what you think the tractor's going to be capable of. Now, keep in mind, we are doing this test on a stump, so, you know, we're not getting that full lift capacity from, like, the base ground, so it might be a little bit less, but, I mean, everything is relative here. So if we see a 30% increase from that 1,550 pounds, I'd expect that we could see a 30% increase from whatever the tractor would be able to lift off, you know, flat ground. Right. So, that being said, let's head down and check it out.
We're zeroed out, and Jake's going to do the low idle lift.
All right, so I'm going to go to 1,500 RPM like last time. And we're going to see where we're at. We are clearly well over the max lift capacity before. What are we at? 1878, 79, 80, 81, 82. All right, 1883. That brought the whole front end of the tractor down.
Yeah.
All right, so that was impressive. Obviously, we just went way above what the max lift capacity was earlier at full wide open throttle, and that was only at 1500 RPM. This tractor is very dirty, it gets used daily. Now, I'm gonna raise it up to 3000 or 2700, the max, wide open. I think we're gonna easily break 2,000 pounds. I hope, that being said, I hope we don't break anything else.
£2,077.
£2,077. That's more than the math.
Yeah. The math never lies.
The math doesn't lie, but neither does Kevin at Hydros Plus. Wow.
Kevin over at Hydros Plus went above and beyond the math.
Yeah, if anything, no, that's more than 30%. He said,
Yeah,
you know,
above
it kind
and
of
beyond.
depends. Yeah, but wow. That's impressive. Okay, now, that being said.
That being said.
That being said. This obviously it's not recommended to lift that much weight on a daily basis constantly with a tractor this size. Can it be done? Yes, we just showed that it can lift over 2,000 pounds. However, I have both my rear tires loaded. I have a big tool rack with suitcase weights, tube sand, and equipment in it. All of this attributes to the fact that, you know, I'm able to lift heavier safely. But should you do it all the time just because you can? No.
You even saw how the whole tractor tilted forward and was getting ready to lift the whole back end off the ground.
Right. I mean, the tractor in this scenario, it felt stable. It didn't feel like the back end was going to come off the ground. But I think what Kevin was trying to say is that, you know, in some situations, it's safer to be able to have that lift capacity when you need it, rather than need it and not have it. So take everything that this video, you know, demonstrated with a grain of salt. If you're interested in these Hydros Plus cylinders, he makes them for John Deere tractors, Kubota tractors. He might even make it for some other brands. So head on over to hydrosplus.com. He said if you subscribe to his newsletter or the website, you'll get a 5% discount if you do order a product, but he tries to keep his prices as low as possible to just make them available to everybody. I'm really excited to see how these cylinders work, you know, just every day. I think it's going to make a big difference just picking up the totes. I think we'll be able to feel a difference. And I'm super excited. Thank you very much, Kevin, for the opportunity. And I think that's about it.
I think these are going to really shine when we get into some of that fresh white oak that we need to split and throw into the totes.
Yeah, right. Like when we lift a full heavy tote of green white oak, you know, the tractor could do it before, but I think it'll just be able to do it easier now that we have these larger cylinders. And, you know, I can't say enough how easy the installation truly was. He said it was going to be a breeze and take about, you know, 20 minutes to a half an hour. And if we weren't filming, it probably would have taken 20 minutes to a half an hour. So I'm super excited. All right, guys, that was pretty cool.
Really cool.
I am pretty impressed. We just messed around with it a little bit after we shut off the camera, and we were messing with the curl function, and we didn't go all the way, but we got it up to 2,506 pounds utilizing the curl function to make the scale a little bit tauter. So these Hydros Plus are the real deal. I think we said that before. Super impressed. Kevin, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Again, go over to hydrosplus.com. This VEVOR scale is awesome. I will put a link to this and to Kevin's website down in the description below. This thing was perfect for this. I asked to review this crane scale for this exact video, and this couldn't have worked any better with this huge digital readout. Yeah. It even came with a remote control so that you can remotely zero the scale and get the tare and stuff like that, turn it on and off. It's rechargeable. So big shout out to VEVOR. Thanks so much for sending that out. This was a lot of fun, and like we both said, we're excited to see how it works out in the future and, you know, real working conditions. So that's gonna wrap this one up. As always, guys, I hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, click the subscribe button down below. Any questions, comments, or feedback, throw it down in that comment section. Be sure to check out the Hydros Plus website for more information on this kit and if they make a kit that will fit your tractor. But for now, I'm Jake.
And I'm Chris.
This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you here next time.